What is going on, Soul Fam? How are you all doing? And I just wanted to come on here real quick and just do a short little message. I guess you could say it's kind of a channeled message. And really, I kind of want to get back into doing these. When I first started my YouTube journey, the kind of videos that I made were just kind of general topic videos, were different philosophical things that I was ruminating on. I wanted to present to the public and just kind of provide my 2 cents on a theme or an idea. Never really talk too much about current events, although I want to start talking about current events and relaying it to the astrology because there is so much happening right now with social media and how it really does dictate people's opinions on what things are happening, and how we have so many layers of ideas and thought on top of what is actually true, and how these layers act as filters. And it takes a very discerning and aware person to be able to see through those filters. But the vast majority of people aren't able to see through those filters. So they get a very jaded view on how society is and how things are. And one thing I really wanted to talk about was this coming eruption. It hasn't come yet, but it's within the next several years. And I'm speaking to Pluto finishing up its transit in Capricorn. You gotta think, Pluto is a planet of no bullshit attitudes. Like, and as Saturn and Pluto come closer together, Saturn will eventually pass Pluto. But what's interesting is that Saturn's going to sort of enter into that eruption zone, which I am saying is 28, 29, and 30 degrees of Aries, respectively. That's the eruption zone. And it's interesting, actually, because when you even think about a volcano, they say that apparently volcanoes actually have alien activity. And when you actually see a volcano erupt, that it creates these clouds, and all of this activity there actually spawns lightning. And in many ways, I want to think of lightning, I like to think of Aquarius energy. I like to think of that electricity that is Aquarius energy. The eruption is coming. We haven't experienced it yet. We think that things are tense right now. We think that there's a lot of pressure right now, but we have to remember that Mars had a very, very powerful retrograde where it went from 9 degrees of Aquarius to retrograding back to 28 degrees of Capricorn. Now, I have to go back and look to see when Capricorn's going to retrograde again. And I'm sure it'll retrograde again before Pluto exits Capricorn. But the eruption is coming. Right now, what we're feeling right now is it building up and building up and building up. And it's like every year it comes up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And when Saturn passes Pluto and conjuncts it, we're definitely going to feel a bit of this false alarm energy, where it's going to be like the volcano erupts, but it's actually going to be a false alarm. And what does Capricorn rule? It rules legacy. In many ways, your purpose. It's the midhaven. It represents the legacy that you leave behind. It's also politics, government, structure, traditions. And with Pluto, the planet of death and transformation and this no bullshit attitude in Capricorn, the reason why people are so flustered right now is because everything that they thought that the world was, you got to think, it's the last Earth sign in the zodiac. It's this higher octave of Earth energy. And that's going through a transformation. So the way that the world is, the way that we have structured our society, our relationship with the animals, a lot of that is shifting powerfully right now, forever. And when Pluto reaches that 0 degree mark of Aquarius, that's the explosion. And you can even think of how high the lava and the smoke plume goes. You can think of that energy as that 0 to 9 degrees of Aquarius that Mars retrograded through last year. So the eruption is coming, and this is what we are feeling right now, because there is this deep, and this comes from deep within the Earth's core, This very deep energy is about to erupt out, and it's going to shift the landscape forever. I'm literally seeing a giant volcano. I'm not saying it's actually going to happen, but metaphorically speaking, if there was a giant volcano somewhere on the earth that just suddenly it's like erupted from the sea somewhere, and then the plume of smoke and the lava flow would be so much that it would literally create a giant island in the middle of the ocean somewhere, and the smoke would just cover the entire earth. And then that's when we're really going to see how strong we are as a society, how strong we are as a community. Because when Pluto goes into Aquarius, it's game on. The eruption is coming. That's why you feel a lot of this stress. That's why you feel a lot of this pressure. All the earth signs feel it. All Capricorns really feel it. If you happen to be of the Uranus, Neptune, and Capricorn generation, where they were coming into their conjunction, they were really close, you can feel this as well, because this is happening. In many ways, in the spiritual realm, it's already happened. We're just playing the catch-up effect here. So I just want to let you all know that to not really get too lost in all of the filters, to not get too lost in all of the political jargon that is so rampant in our society right now, because it's so easy to get caught up in that. And you got to think the sun is going to come into Aquarius soon, which means that Pluto's going to be in the 12th house, right? Pluto and Saturn will be in the 12th house, and Mercury. So this is definitely also going to shift the perception from, the individual, the persona, the ego, to the spiritual realm. And people are even going to be feeling more pressure. This may cause more anxiety. This may cause more depression. This may cause more stress in people's lives, because they can even feel on a spiritual level they are shifting in another direction. And a lot of people are wanting to hold on to the old world in some way. But the old way, the old world is done. It's finished. And we're stepping into a new era and a new age. The eruption is coming. It hasn't even erupted yet. This volcano has not erupted yet. But you can feel it rising up. You can feel the lava and the heat bubbling up. You can feel it, right? Try not to get lost in all the filters. And it happens to everyone every now and again. We get lost in the filters. We get caught up in the currents. And it can be difficult to navigate. But if I have any recommendation, is to ground yourself every day. Ground yourself by taking deep breaths. Ground yourself by getting into your body and exercising. Ground yourself by meditating. Ground yourself by eating high quality foods. Ground yourself by involving yourself in passions that you really can't take to the next level. John Tree, exercising right now, excellent. Exercising is really good. You got to understand, once you're exercising, it's kind of interesting how exercising means to pump up our body and make our body stronger, but exercise also means to eliminate dark entities and spirits at the same time. It's interesting how that works out. So this is a time where we are really exercising a lot of these darker forces from this world. And they are trying to hold on, but their power is only as strong as the power you give them. Their power is only that, and they can't even take the power that you give them and maximize it. They can't even take that power and bring it to its exalted state. They can't do that. They don't have the ability to. This is why you can light a flame in a room, in a dark room, that let's just say that you are in, potentially, that you are in a dark room with no lights on, that's a square mile. That's a pretty big ass room. But you can actually find your way out of that room with just a lighter. It may take a while, but you'll be able to find your way out of that room. And what happens is that most people project their fears into what's in that darkness. And those are the boogeymen that attack them. Those are the boogeymen that attack them. 99.9% of those shadows are self-projected. And yes, there is a boss at the end when you're right about to get out of that maze. But as you approach him, as you approach it, you know, you'll come to see how small it is in influence. Its influence is only as good as you give it to it. But then the power that you have within you is so much greater than even the influence that they feed off of. Those dark forces. The eruption is coming. And I'm telling you, like right now, a lot of people are trying to take their old way. And you gotta remember, Saturn, when Saturn comes back into Capricorn, Pluto won't be in Capricorn. So this is a very rare time. I'm going to, of course, talk about this in my weekly astrology horoscope tonight. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but yesterday my energies got kind of knocked out. It was interesting. Like I exercised, and then after that, I was just tired. It was weird. And I got to work on my relationship with exercising because I'm not, generally I'm decent, but I'm not exactly where I want to be fitness-wise. But it's interesting because a lot of people are like, they're taking their problems and what they want to hold on to and stuff like that. They're taking them to Saturn, and Saturn's kind of looking at them kind of like, really? I mean, I guess if you want to do it like that, but just know that if you do it this way, you're going to get this result. If you do it this way, you're going to do that results. And Saturn's kind of trying to work with people, but Saturn's still in its home sign. So Saturn is looking at people sideways. Like, really? That's what you want to take into the new world? Good luck. And then people are like, oh, well, I guess Saturn didn't really understand why I want to take this into the new world. Let me go over to Pluto and let me climb them out a little bit more and go see what Pluto wants. And you get to Pluto, and Pluto is no bullshit attitude, especially in Capricorn. Pluto's just going to look at you like this. Whereas Saturn was like, Pluto's just going to look at you sideways. And will probably smack you with his eyes. That's what Pluto will do. So that's what's happening. Because people are bringing these qualities of the old world that they want to bring it to the new world. And they brought it to Saturn. And Saturn's like, nah, not really cool. If you want to consult Pluto, but he's just going to tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you. I'm actually the nice guy here. And people take it to Pluto, and Pluto's just like, get the fuck out of my office with that bullshit. The eruption is coming. The eruption is coming. And I don't think anyone's really ready for it. I think we can prepare as much as we can for it. But I think the best way to prepare for it is to simply be our authentic self. And to also have the humility and the humbleness to admit where we were wrong in the past, forgive ourselves for those moments, and to move into a better quality of us. So that's all I really want to talk about in this. You probably expect to see more of these videos. I had several other things I could have been talking about too that I probably will talk about over this week. I'll just come on here live and just start ranting about stuff. But you'll get these in addition to the other astrology videos. But the eruption is coming. Everyone's talking about winter is coming. Winter is coming. And I guess technically we are in winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. But true winter, it's actually coming. It's down the road. You know, the true winter, because, you know, it's like supposedly when the freaking meteor that knocked out the dinosaurs hit the earth and it created this plume of smoke around the earth and things got cooler. That was a real winter, if that actually happened. But that was a real winter. This eruption that we have when Pluto hits 28 degrees of Capricorn through, you know, especially through to 0 degrees of Aquarius and then onward, that's going to be the real winter. Then we're going to see, you know, how we can protect and harness and embrace that warmth and incubate that warmth so we can take that into the new world. And it is my belief and my hope, and I trust that we create better world because of it. Thanks so much for joining me on this live video, and be sure to tune in tonight at around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be going live for the weekly horoscope. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile